Muscle Team Bash. This is our 14th year of doing this. It's an event that was started by Diane and Don Breckenridge. You might know that name. He built virtually every Sheraton within 150 miles of here. And he was a national board member for muscular dystrophy, and they started this party in February, a downtime, to offset kind of what they did in the fall with the telethon. And it grew from humble beginnings, and in the first 13 years, we've netted $1.8 million for sending kids to camp and clinical services provided at WashU and research.
People always ask on these types of events, is this money that's going to stay in St. Louis?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, last year we had the Cardinals. I think we netted around $145,000. We sent 70 kids to a week-long camp. I don't know how familiar you are with the life of a family affected by muscular dystrophy, but it's a 24/7 job for the parents. And if they have a healthy child as well, that child is never number one in the family, except in camp week, when these kids go off and they have one-on-one counselors and caregivers, and the family they get a break, some downtime.
That's the big. I used to do the telethon for many years, and camp is just huge.
Oh, camp's magnificent, and
kids.
What an effect on their lives. There's a very impressive young woman named Amy Waymeyer who runs Paraquat here in town. Amy was our honoree a few years ago, and so I asked her about camp, and she said, I went to camp every year until I aged out, and she just had this wistfulness in her voice. And I said, camp, so tell me about camp. She goes, first kiss, first shin bruises, playing wheelchair soccer. You know, she just went on and on about what a difference camp had made in her life, and now she runs a $20-something million organization that helps disabled people focus on what they can do, not what they can't.
All right. We're talking with Mike Hogan, the chairman of the Muscle Team Bash for MDA. It is Friday, March 24th at St. Louis Union Station. And the honorary chairman, the person being honored, is Bobby Plager.
Yeah, the great Blue. Bobby is the only person in history to spend all 50 years with the Blues as a player, a coach, a mentor, a goodwill ambassador. Everybody sees Bobby, and he's this affable, very approachable, friendly guy. They're glad they didn't have to get one of his hip checks in the early days, but he's actually one of the smartest hockey people you'll ever meet. He's credited with advanced scouting, which we all take for granted now, but they didn't do that in the day. And Bobby actually won the only cup we have in the Blues organization when he coached the Peoria Rivermen to a title.
Okay.
He's a very, very good guy. I love being at games next to him and just listening to him talk. You learn a lot. Good guy.
Now, I want to keep talking about this, but I want to make sure we let everyone know how they can get tickets for this.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's 2 weeks from today. Bob O'Loughlin's Union Station Hotel. We already have 400 people that are confirmed to come. You can get tickets. A table of 10 is $1,500. If that's rich for your blood, you can get a ticket for $150. Mm-hmm. A couple can come for $250. It is business casual or blues attire, very informal. And they need to call the office. There's a very nice young woman named Misty, and she can be reached at the MDA offices at 314-962-0023, or if you're driving out there, you can always Google MDA St. Louis and find that number yourself.
This is your biggest fundraiser of the year, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, they do the Shamrocks, which raise a lot of money. But since the telethon is no longer here, this is the single biggest fundraiser. I'm happy to report that we are setting records this year, where we've already raised $203,000, and with a decent night with 400 people there, we could go over the top, which is wonderful. So I'd be remiss if I didn't let people know, all these years we've been spending money on research. And, a lot of people think that's a big black hole. Well, for the first time, this is after 60 years of trying, we've had the first 3 drugs approved by the FDA within the last 6 months that actually are making a difference in the lives of people suffering with muscle diseases. So this is a really upbeat time for people affected by these diseases.
Yeah, that's so wonderful to hear. For as a kid who grew up on the telethon, and watching the kids come out and the families, and knowing how important that research is to improving their lives, and just wanting desperately to see something. It's great to hear that we're getting closer.
Well, we're actually there in some of these things. You asked the question, is this money used locally? They spend well over $1 million locally at WashU and at the University of Missouri on research that comes out of MDA. So every year. So this money is used here.
And it's important to note also, it's not just children who are affected
Oh,
by
no.
these neuromuscular diseases, but
No.
they're adults.
Yeah, Lou
especially
Gehrig's,
which is
I have, sadly, I know 2 people who have suffered through that, one of whom's no longer with us.
devastating disease.
Our other honoree, which we haven't talked about, is a young man named Gabe Weil, who passed away within the last year. Gabe was on the verge of moving into independent living with another fellow who's affected by the disease, and sadly he died, and we're going to honor Gabe's memory. If you're around these people, I got involved, as you do in corporate life, just, kind of surreptitiously. And I met a young man named Zach Winkle, who was 6 at the time in a 3-piece suit. And he's the most mature 6-year-old I ever met. And I'm proud to tell you he's my friend. He's now a freshman at Bradley University. And he is the most positive person in the world. When guys at work used to see small problems that they'd build into mountains, I would threaten to bring Zach in for an attitude adjustment. Wonderful young man. But anyway, I hope folks out there who are blues fans will be interested in attending. It's a relatively cheap way to get access to an auction that has 150 items in them. KTRS has been a great help to us. Farmer Dave is our auctioneer. Jim Holder, who was just on here recently, has been on the committee for the last 5 years and is a tremendous help. And Pat Blassie, Altair Travel, has donated a Cardinals cruise personally for our auction. And ARCA, Assisted Recovery Centers of America, has donated round-trip airfare to go with that cruise. So you guys have shown up for us. We appreciate that. And, it'd be a great event. It's fun. I think we're going to have Louie and the Blue Crew girls. Some of the other alumni will show up that night.
I was going to say, it sounds like there'll be some other blues hanging around, not just Bobby Plager.
Yeah, well, we're hoping. Anyway, but we've done it with the Cardinals. We've done it with the Big Red Football Cardinals. We've done it with the Legends of Mizzou football. It's always just a fun and upbeat event.
Mike Hogan, chairman of the upcoming Muscle Team Bash for MDA. Again, tell us where we can get tickets.
You call Misty at the MDA offices at 314-962-0023. And again, if you're driving, please don't write that down. Go Google MDA St. Louis, and you can find that number yourself.
Thank you, Mike Hogan. It's the MDA Muscle Team Bash, Friday, March 24th at the Union Station Hotel. We really look forward to a great cause.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
You bet.